Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 Map Guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Missouri River Bottom. But before that, this video is brought to you by Gaming with Dark Fang and Desert Ox Farms. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Missouri River Bottom map can be found over at River Bottom Custom Farming's itch.io page, and I will have a link to that down in the description below. As a result of this map being a 4X map and being over at itch.io, this is of course going to be a PC only map. Now let me read you some of the description. Welcome to Northwest Missouri River Bottom Farming. This is a total remake of my 4X map from 22, built from the ground up. A lot of work went into making this map, and I hope you enjoyed playing on it. My vision for this map is an open sandbox style for big farming operations. You can make the map how you want it to be, but there's only one starting farm on this map, and no other farms are built to get in your way. I will also add that you can indeed delete everything at the starting farm if you want to completely rebuild the starting farm however you should so wish. Then he goes on to say, I seriously considered putting this map behind a $1 to $2 paywall because of the amount of time I poured into this map. However, after consideration, I'm just going to give you the opportunity for the first time since I have started releasing mods and ask for a donation instead, which is the right thing to do because Giants explicitly prohibits in their terms of service putting any map or mod behind a paywall. So in doing so, it would have basically probably excluded just about every Giants partner from covering this map at all. So it's a good thing that it is a free will donation. That's perfectly fine. There's no problem if you wish to give this guy a couple bucks for his efforts. You enjoy the map, then by all means, go ahead and do that. Big shout out and thank you to my testers and some fellow modders for their insight, advice, and all the hard work to make this game into what we all enjoy. That is RBC Testers, PWM Mapping, Delta South Modding and Mapping, and the Farm Sim Guy. This map is already set up with propane and anhydrous installed, including in the mods_zip file when you download. I'll have an edited version of an in-game trailer for hauling both gases. If you have the capability, there's also an auto drive config file inside the map folder. If you unzip it, you can place it in your save game. This is by no means a complete network, but it's a start. Now, with respect to downloading this map and all of its required mods are approximately 0.98 gigabytes in size, so just under 1 gigabyte. There are 4 mods listed here that the map author says you'll need in addition to downloading the 2 that are below the screen right now. So No Creek Farms Farmhouse, linked over at LJR Modding's itch.io page. Default Types by Thunder RFS, again, linked over to his itch.io page. And then we have 2 that are linked from the Giants Mod Hub, the 3 Stars Garage, and the American Midwest Cold Storage. I do want to say I appreciate having those linked to their original sources as opposed to just lumping them into a mods.zip that makes it easier in theory for the player to download by having them all bundled in one place. But what it does by having them all linked to the individual locations is it gives you, the player, a general idea of where these came from, who made these, and it gives them some download credit for having those particular mods. And No Creek Farmhouse, if he offers donations, well, then you'll have an ability to do that as well. Now, once you want to go ahead and download the map, we're going to click Download Now. Here's where you're going to be able to do your Goodwill donation if you wish to do that. If not, you can just click No Thanks, take me to the downloads. And from here, we're going to want to download the Missouri River Bottom map and the mods_zip file. So I've already downloaded the map. I'm going to go ahead and download the mod_zip file. I'm going to show you what you need to do with respect to that. So with respect to the mods_zip file, you're going to need to right click on that and pick extract all. Just go ahead and walk through the wizard here and it's going to extract 6 different mods. You're going to want to put these 6 files into your mod folder, not the mods_zip. You're going to want to put these 6 files into your mod folder, as well as the map itself, as well as the other 4 mods that were listed here to download. And at that point, Then you're going to be able to fire the map up, and it's going to look exactly how you see it here in this video. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. So as the description said, this map is all about big scale farming, and there are a lot of large fields on this map. Remember, this is a 4X map, so everything is 4 times larger than it appears. So for example, field 29 or farmland ID 29 is 78.63 hectares in size. The smallest field on this map, which is farmland ID 18, which we own here at the start, is 0.59 hectares in size. Now, specifically with respect to our starting farm, it's here at farmland ID 54. If you start this map up in any game mode and you select to not own the starting farm, then of course you do not own any land. You'll be able to buy this for $377,802. In all game modes, regardless if you own the land or not, all of the starting vehicles are here and the starting farm buildings are pre-placed. So regardless if you own the map or not, or own the farm or not, you will have everything exactly how you see it here. You just might have to buy it before you can use it. Now, as far as starting fields, well, we start up by owning farmland ID 20, 25, 24, 23, 17, 16, 13, 14, 15, and 8. So a good chunk of the southern part of this map is already owned by us at the start. We do have all the starting crops in Farm Sim 25 available to us here on this particular map. If we take a look at our crop counter, I usually key off of canola and wheat with respect to if this is our default crop counter or not. I don't try to memorize exactly which harvest and planting schedule is for every one of these crops, but I know that canola typically overlaps here in August, and wheat typically is harvestable in August and planted in September. So from all I can tell, this appears to be the default crop counter with respect to Farm Sim 25. On this map, you'll find no starting animals, no animal pens. We do have contracts. We have standard Farm Sim contracts. I can't recall if I saw custom FS25 contracts pop up when I've been loading and looking at this map on my low-end system and prepping for this video or not. So I'm not really sure off the top of my head if you're going to have wood transport contracts, stone crushing contracts, or dead tree contracts. This map has one production. It's going to be a grain dryer. We're going to be able to make dried corn. And the corn is going to require propane. That is going to be at the starting farm. And there's no other production pre-placed on this map. We have approximately 4 sell points on this particular map for our grain. If we take a look at our vehicles, you see we start out with the Breedall K105 lime and fertilized spreader. We have the Gearinghoff North Star 1230 FB corn header. We have the Hardy Delta Force 5200 sprayer, and you can see this has been set up for anhydrous as well. So typically you're going to use an injector. It looks like a cultivator that's going to inject anhydrous directly into the ground. This map is set up where you're spraying anhydrous into the air, basically over your crop or ground. Not so much the most realistic as far as how I understand anhydrous gets applied, but I guess if we don't have proper applicators yet, then this is going to be what you're going to have to do until those are produced. I'm not up to speed with things outside the Giants Mod Hub, so there may be proper anhydrous equipment already out there. I just don't know where it is. If you do know where it is, go ahead and hit me up over on the Discord and put a link in the mods channel, and I'll come back and I'll update this map with that information. We have our International 200 pickup truck, the International Transtar 2 semi. We have the J&M X10 auger wagon. We've got the John Deere 8R 370 tractor, the John Deere 9RX tractor, the John Deere RDF 35 grain header. We've got the John Deere 7S 800 harvester. We have the EFG S50 forklift. We have the Kinsey 4905 Blue Drive planter. We have a Kubota side-by-side. We have the HDS 918 power washer. We have Low King Distinction triple hopper semi-trailer. We have Meridian TL 1239 auger. We have a Nardi N6035 header trailer. We have a Podger Servo T6000 plow. And we have the Summers Super Chisel disc or cultivator. We do not have any hand tools, and this map lists 25 collectibles, but when I was looking around, I could not find any of the collectibles, and the generic show all collectibles command did not pop up any dots in order to reflect where those collectibles are. I think that listing is a residual of the collectibles XML being in the map from the base map, which was Riverbend Springs. Now, with respect to our starting farm, this is exactly where we land when we load this map up for the very first time. We're going to have a fuel point over here where we can buy fuel and store it. We also have storage for liquid fertilizer. We can purchase and store, we can purchase seed or solid fertilizer here, and that's what our Meridian auger is for. You see our forklift, our pressure washer. Side here we have our tractors, we have our side-by-side, and then this is also a workshop trigger. And you see we have things outside the building that we're able to activate as well as things inside. So the workshop trigger does extend outside and around the building. We have our farmhouse with our pickup truck. And inside the farmhouse, we will have our sleep trigger as well as our wardrobe trigger. Very nice farmhouse, if I do say so. So here we have our sleep trigger. And our wardrobe trigger. Oh, someone's already drawn some water. Whoa! And then the rest of our machinery is going to be in this large machine shed. As I said earlier, we can delete all of this stuff if we wish to put other machine buildings down or redesign the farm in any way. Then the last thing I want to point out here is going to be our grain bin corn dryer setup. That is going to be located right over here. We have our dump and our fill point right here, and then we have our anhydrous point located right there. And we're going to go in here to activate our production. Again, it's going to act as a general silo for our traditional grains, but corn is going to basically be a corn dryer. There's no opportunity to store corn in this particular complex. And that's pretty much the starting farm. Like I said, there's no other farms on this map. There is an area just to the north of this that we're going to fly up to here in a moment that does have a couple sheds and a house. We can delete the sheds, but the house remains. So that could be kind of a secondary farm if we wanted to build that out. So let's get a little bit of height and, like I said, make our way up here to that potential secondary farm area. So we have this barn that we can sell. The farmhouse appears to be permanent in this location, and we can sell the windmill, the water fill point. This is a water fill point, by the way. So we could have this land also. Actually, technically, we do own this particular land because we own Farmland 53. And Farmland 53 is everything that's not a field. Okay, so it's all the roads, it's the sell point areas, it's the forest, it's the river, it's everything that is not a field. We already own that. So technically, we do own this particular area. If we continue to make our way kind of northwest, okay, we can see all of these fields over here. But what we're really making our way up here to is we have a few bins. These are going to be grain bins, and we can use these and store grain if we want to. Of course, you're going to need to use an auger to both fill and remove product from these. And when I have attempted to sell other bins in other places on this map, I was not successful. I do appear to be able to sell these bins, which is good to see. Because again, if you want to repurpose this area, you will have that capability of doing so. Let's make our way across the northern part of the map. You can see this is basically a flat map. So you shouldn't have too many issues with respect to power requirements and your machinery. In the northeast, we have one of the grain sell points located right here. And of course, we have our dump station right there. And then if we swing and make our way to the southeast, we're going to find where we have a couple more buy points and sell points. We do have a railroad track that runs the eastern edge of this map. As best I can tell, it is not a sell point. We don't have a train sell point. But I do believe, we look here under prices, we have this listed as a train sell point. But we don't have triggers to rent the train. We don't have a point where we can load things into the train. So I'm not really sure what's up with the fact that it says that there is a train sell point, but I really don't think there actually is. Well, let me stand correct. I just found this just out here in the middle of nowhere. So here we have our rent train trigger. Now let's just check and see. I don't see any way of putting crop into this train. So if you know where that is, I'd love to know in the comments. It would also help out other folks. Because typically we would see a vertical rectangle that is representing a silo kind of load point, and it would be here where the train goes. Any rate, what we have here is we have a sell point located here in this dump, and this says load and store, but you can see it's been blocked off this way, and there's no active triggers here or here. So that may be coming in a future update, as maybe the train is coming in a future update, because we do have a bit of a rail line here. So my guess is at some point that rail line is going to extend into here, and there's going to be a dump and fill trigger here in order to put that train crop in. But as of this release, that is not available. Here we have our propane buy point. And in order to buy propane, well, we're going to have to come here to our vehicle shop. We're going to have to go to mods and DLCs. And here we have our propane anhydrous tanker. It is built into the map. And you're going to be able to put all of your normal fill types in here on top of propane and anhydrous. Speaking of anhydrous, this is where we have our buy point for that. Around the back of the building, we have our buy point for our liquid fertilizer and herbicide. Over here, we have our buy point for seed. And we have a buy point for fuel. Further down the eastern side of the map, we have our vehicle shop. So our shop trigger is here in the front. And let's go ahead and pick up something. And you can see we've got a decent sized area here for our machinery to spawn in. We've got very easy access in and out of the shop. Very wide roads. Our power poles are well removed from the road. So we should have no issues whatsoever in getting large machinery around on this map. In fact, it appears these power poles do not have any collisions whatsoever. Our dealer trigger is located here at the side of the building. And then our animal dealer is located here around the back. So if you do go and put down animal pins, this is where you're going to be able to come and buy and sell your animals. Now, if we make our way west from the animal dealer and dealership, we're going to find we have a easy shed for vehicle implement bale storage. And then we have 4 more grain bins. And if we continue to make our way west, then we have an additional 3 grain bins. And these are the grain bins I couldn't sell when I was initially looking around at the map, which gave me an indication that I thought that none of the bins were sellable, but that turns out to not necessarily be the case. Just out of curiosity, let's go here and check these 4. These 4 are also not sellable. This building is, and this building here is also. So it would be nice when this map does get an update that these 7 bins also have the ability to be sold, just so that you do have that full sandbox customization capability. We know it's probably intended because the 2 up by field 42 could be sold, but these 7, for whatever reason, I guess the XML did not quite get properly flagged in order to enable that feature. Now, with respect to performance on lower end systems, I'm not really sure what's going on with this map. It feels to be a bit more demanding than other maps that we've taken a look at. When I was taking a look at this map on my lower end system, which is using AMD integrated graphics with a 40-watt TDP, I was finding frame rates when I was around this farm to be as low as 20, which, if you factor in our frame gen, is still only 40 FPS. Now, when I got away from this farm, out in the middle of just these fields and some trees, I was seeing frames upwards to 50, which again is going to give us, to our eye, frame rate of around 100. So that was very smooth gameplay. But here around this farm and other areas around some of these other buildings, we were seeing pretty reduced frame rates. And it may not have come through on the video, but even with my system here, there's occasions where it would just have a quick little stutter for no apparent reason. So I'm not sure why it is like this at all. It is not because it's a 4X map. In no way. I played 4X maps on my low-end system, and I don't have any issues whatsoever, typically. So I'm not sure what's going on with this map at the moment, but I am seeing a bit lower performance than I would expect for generally what is on screen at any one point in time. Now, I'd love to know your all's thoughts down in the comments below. Would this be a good Nexat map? Sure. Sure, I think it'd be a great Nexat map. Quite frankly, I think lots of maps are good Nexat maps, other than maybe that Polish map that recently we took a look at, because it seemed to have pretty narrow and hilly fields, and, well, I don't think it's really going to be ideal for something that's 15 meters wide. As I said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Again, you can download this map using the link down in the description below. If you enjoy playing on this map, if you wish, please, by all means, give the map author a free will donation. Tell him thanks for putting out this map, and I hope you continue to update it, and I hope you continue to do other mapping projects. Until next time, happy farming.